we were talking earlier about Prince Andrew. We were told that this list wouldn't really change the dial for him, but it actually does, because for the first time in black and white, there he is, accused implicitly of having sex with girls that were underage. This has always been a grey area in the charges against him because of the various ages of consent around the world. Now this Jane Doe 3 is saying he had sex with me in 3 different places when I was underage. So it has made the situation even more uncomfortable for the disgraced Duke, hasn't it?
Well, indeed, it just comes at a time when it seemed that Prince Andrew was stepping out of the shadows a little bit and seemed to be cozying up to the royal family again, and everything was going good. And now this kind of blows it out of the water. And as you say, all these names are coming out now. None of them have been alleged to have done anything wrong, except for Prince Andrew. And he's the one person who hasn't been investigated. And the Metropolitan Police have refused 3 times to investigate him.
Well, they're investigating war crimes in Gaza. I think we know that. No, I mean, Nigel, what I want to ask especially is about Prince Andrew and what his motivations were. I mean, did the palace not try and intervene when he was sort of gallivanting around the world, glad-handing with various people, taking private jets and going to people like, you know, sordid Jeffrey Epstein's Sin Island, even after this guy has essentially been accused of being involved in some pretty horrible activities? And Andrew's saying, oh, I had to go and apologise to him in person before I cut off our friendship.
Well, it's rather difficult to second guess people who live in such a privileged position. That Prince Andrew particularly thought that he could get away with anything because he'd been brought up behind palace walls, and from the time he could first walk and talk, everyone was calling him Your Royal Highness. It's very difficult to see inside the heads of people like that.
Nigel, let's talk about specifically the relationship between Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, how did it start? Did Epstein say, I can take your £1 million and turn it into £10 million? Was that the kind of basis of their friendship, the foundation? I'll make you a fortune. You come along with me and make me look like I hang out with people of status, members of the royal family. You can get me into parties at Buckingham Palace. Was that it? You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours financially?
Well, certainly that was the motivation from Epstein's point of view, that obviously rubbing shoulders with British royalty did him his credibility a whole lot of good. Prince Andrew was essentially is essentially a freeloader. I mean, he doesn't have to pay for anything ever, and he can travel around. Well, at the time when he was first with Epstein, he was traveling around the world as our trade representative at the taxpayers' expense, spending enormous sums of money. No one's ever accounted for how much business he brought to this country. I've never seen any figures on it.
No, well, I think he's seen plenty of figures, but not the money he's brought to our country. Nigel, thank you.